Chase Buchanan, Private Wealth Management. Trusted advice made simple.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot, now pass me the ball. Always wanna stop me when I'm running the ball. Gotta dust it off, now watch me go.
Hello and welcome to Pitch Football at the Euros. It is a windy day out here in Portugal. I'm a bit worried about Abby's hair. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. I'm Ian Chambers. This is Sporty Stuff, Abigail Davies, and this is the man, the myth, the legend. You know who he is. It's Mr. Paul Ince. Ince, how are you?
A bit down today.
Yeah. What you left? No.
I was actually, when I woke up this morning, I was actually dreading doing the show.
I had to spring in my step.
And for one reason, a bit disappointed. But hey, listen, we're back here.
We're back.
A bit windy, sun's shining, but listen, let's do it, eh?
Maybe the wind will blow it home, eh?
Oh,
Harry Kane's not going to bring it home, so maybe the wind will blow it home.
Whoa. Right. I mean, good luck with Italy, by the way. But, we'll get to that. Ince, I'm putting you on the spot here. Do you have a fact today or not? Do you have a fact of the day?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fact of the day.
Other than, I've got one.
Having about England, I know what you're going to say. Harry Kane ain't going to score in the whole tournament. Is that your fact?
I've already dropped that banger. Have you got one?
No, I haven't, but I can think of one. Give me a couple of minutes.
I'll do one while you're thinking.
Okay, good.
Fact of the day. I've never seen this man look better than right now. Have you?
Is that a compliment or an insult? What's he trying to say?
Yeah, I think he's trying to tell you that you normally look like a scruff.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to say. Yeah, what are you trying to say?
No, you look great. Right, well, you get thinking.
That backfired.
So the reason why Ince, of course, is feeling a bit sad today is because now we can finally talk about the England-Scotland result. Before we do, have a listen to what this fan has to say that we spoke to. I think it pretty much sums it up.
I think it's going to be very easy. Yeah. I think it's going to be really easy. I think 2-3-0 England, fairly easy, yeah, fairly straightforward.
Told you it'd be easy, absolutely good, played dreadful, shocking formation, well done Southgate.
Poor fella, I did say that pretty much summed things up, didn't I, Ince?
Yeah, you did, and rightly so. Listen, you got to look at this game one or two ways. You really have. As much as it was disappointing, and the performance was disappointing, it's another point on the board. It's more or less coming guaranteed qualification. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it doesn't matter how you play. You need to pick up points. Listen, you want to go into the further you go, you want to be going in a little bit of form. But at the moment, I think the objective is to get out the group stages, and that's what we've done. And you can spin it how you want to spin it. Yeah, it wasn't great. We weren't great. There wasn't probably one player in the park who had a good game, as far as I was concerned.
For England, there was a
I was going to say Gilmore played well, actually.
I thought Gilmore was outstanding.
Yeah, he was,
no, but for England, no, Gilmore was very, very good. But as far as England concerned, there wasn't one player I could say, he had a really good game. I mean, Jack Grealish came on, tried to make things happen, but it was disappointing overall.
Do you think he brought him on too late? That's one of the talks, isn't it? They made the subs in the 63rd and 74th minute. Is it hard to influence a game if you're not, would you have made that sub a little bit earlier?
No, I don't think so, because I think the way the game was going, Scotland start to push the last 25 minutes, but we always said before about Jack Grealish, he was always going to be one of those players where it kind of loosened up a bit, and to fair, the last 20 minutes was kind of end-to-end, wasn't it? It's like a bit of a basketball match. So, no, I think the timing was right. I think obviously there was a bit of disappointment with obviously bringing Phil Foden off. You could hear the boos and that, when he came off. But it was, it was one of those, because Sterling was poor and Foden wasn't much better. So it's one of the, you take one or the other off. But I just think the way we set our team up, the way we played, for some reason, and I don't get it, going back to the Croatia game, you've got Sterling on the left, you've got Foden on the right, we've got plenty of width, today, yesterday they was inside, they were too deep, they were too easy for the Scottish team to deal with them. So I'm not sure what the tactics were around that, and I think that affected the way they played. But we thought we could make it change with Grealish and Rashford, and it didn't really work, did it?
It's almost like, when you talk about these big games, you need your players like your Gareth Bale and your Aaron Ramsey to step up, which obviously those two did.
2 minutes 40.
Which obviously those two did, and clearly, the England players couldn't do that. So.
I think we looked a bit. Listen, I think it's funny because as I've played in a few England-Scotland games, and because you hear about all the rivalry and the importance of, not getting beat, getting a result, it looked like we were a little bit edgy. It looked like it was a little bit nervous.
It was tense, wasn't it?
It was tense. There was no need for it to be tense.
No.
But the Scottish looked like, they had more desire. Put more effort into the game, had more belief that they were going to actually get something out of it. We looked like we was kind of just settling for a point, and then sometimes you have to do that in the European Championship.
There were some big chances at both ends. The one that stood out to me was the Stones header that arguably he should have scored that.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever want a ball to fall to anyone in the box, it's either going to be a centre forward or a centre half. And you see Sam Stone scored many goals this season for City in that type of position.
Yeah.
Listen, there's an element of unluckiness about it. It's inside of the post, but
It's been a problem for us, that inside of the post, hasn't it?
Foden,
Yeah.
But that goes in. It's a different ball game.
Yeah.
But it didn't go in, and Scotland got a lot of belief from that, and it looked like they were going to win the game. And we were lucky to get a point out of it.
Yeah.
I hate sitting here and saying that, but we were lucky to get a point out of it.
Got to give Scotland some credit for that.
Absolutely, and I think, as we mentioned, Billy Gilmore, he was absolutely superb.
He pretty much booked himself in that side for years to come just from that performance?
Yeah, I think, pre-match I did call it.
Yeah.
I thought he was the player that needed to come into that midfield, and he controlled it. The passes, the defence splitting passes, I think he did control that midfield, and I think he showed a lot of maturity in that midfield. And you do think, yes, England were poor, but how much of that came from Scotland taking the game to them? They didn't sit off, and I think the way they took the game to England, and they couldn't deal with that press, and they couldn't get on top of them.
Listen, I was kind of feel when you the level between England and Scotland, the disparity between the two teams is not as much big as people think it is, especially when they had the extra 10% in the game like that. And it meant more to the Scottish team than it kind of meant to the English team. But we've got top players. Yeah. If they want to press, we should be able to play around the press with the players that we've got. But what we've seen again is that, as a game goes on, we're playing two holding midfield players. Now, do we need to have Kelvin Phillips and Declan Rice there when we're trying to win the game? Go with one in there, things like that. Again, Kane. That's how good, isn't it? Again.
Is that a new chant?
Yeah, go.
No, I think it's Carry Kane is the new chant.
Again, we mentioned it in the first game, dropping deep, wanting to get on the ball. And that could be an issue going forward.
Are you worried about Kane at all? Because he did get a lot of stick actually, and it is always sad to see a prolific player get taken off before the game is over. However, my argument is always going to be, if you're a customer at a restaurant, you can't really complain if no one serves the plate and the food in front of you, and he wasn't getting that sort of delivery, was he, to put it in the back of the net? And
this is the problem. This is what I said to you just a minute ago. Because Sterling and Foden were playing so inside the park, there was nothing coming from the flanks. No. And you're right, Kane has to be serviced. He's a striker. He feeds on that. But then again, it was just general game. Yeah. And it's an issue that goes back to 2018. As I said before, is it distraction on what's going to happen when he finishes the Euros? Yeah. I don't know. But what I do know is that when you're bringing the centre forward off, it might be handy to bring the centre forward on.
Yeah,
this is true.
Exactly, absolutely.
And you've got Calvert-Lewin sitting there. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but he's banging form with scoring goals. We bring Rashford on, who's probably predominantly plays on the left-hand side. And we just lose our attackiness. So, some of the substitutions were poor. It didn't really make sense to me.
Kane had 19 touches of the ball last night.
Well, that says it all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he completed in the first half, 2 passes.
Yeah. Yes, that says where it is, and to be fair, it's good that Southey can recognise that, but then you've got to replace him with another striker.
Exactly, and I think he needs that pressure, doesn't he? I think he needs to know that he isn't guaranteed to start now. I remember before England's first game, we were saying he's the name on the team sheet. It'll always be first name on the team sheet,
and it will be.
Do you think he retains his place?
Kane would start every game.
Wow.
I'm telling you that now.
We said this, didn't we? We said even if England get to the final and he hasn't scored, he's still
he will start every game. Yeah.
Because he's a big moment player when it matters.
It's just like playing Giroud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every game. He's not hitting the target, never scoring a goal, but he plays every game. It comes away with a World Cup win, isn't it?
It's like on this show, he's always going to start, isn't he, on this show?
Well,
he's Ince, isn't he? He's always going to be sitting right here.
You know what I mean? Got doubts about whether you're going to be sitting right there.
You better step your performance up.
You're going on that, having a go at me.
You mentioned that.
Have you got that pull, have you? Who are you getting in instead? Harry Kane, actually, when you go out the tournament, you can get Harry Kane to replace me.
I'll keep her more.
England have managed only 3 shots on target so far in this entire competition. North Macedonia, 7. So that's not nice, is it?
It's fantastic.
It's not, and I didn't like saying it. I wanted to bring it up because I genuinely believe that we've had a couple of games now. We've seen the starting 11. Is there a change in the system needed going forward?
It's not necessarily the system. You know what I mean? It's the kind of how you look at the plan you want to go and attack teams. You know what I mean? We've always kind of been a kind of safe team. I looked at us yesterday and I thought, where's our identity? What are we actually trying to do? We knew with the Scottish team, with the fight, you can see what they were trying to do in the game. With England, it looked like it was kind of off the cuff stuff. You watch the Italians, you watch the Dutch. You know how they set up. You know what they're trying to do.
You know what you're going to get.
You're going to get. With England, I'm not sure what we're going to get.
It looked rigid, didn't it?
Rigid. Squares. I mean, the play was so slow, very position. We never looked we attacked at pace. And put teams under pressure. Not just one or two shots, but just constant pressure. Back out, get the next ball. Back out, get the next ball, and keep probing at teams. We never looked like that. And I looked like we lost our way a bit.
It's unpredictable, isn't it, to ever assume that you're going to get a good performance out of England. That's the bit that I find a little bit difficult about this tournament. You never know what you're going to get.
And I think the one thing as well, on your point, I know I bring it back to Gilmour, but he wanted the ball under pressure. How many of those England players wanted? How many of them were showing for the ball when you were under the cosh?
No,
they were all shying away.
Right. There wasn't even that. It's even times we got the balls in the positions that we wanted, but then we kept going back again. It's like you talk about.
No one was taking risks.
You talk about these stats, and sometimes it annoys me. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these teams that I'm watching, especially England, they just want to build their stats up. They go back, they go forward, they go back. And I wish there'd be a rule, all right, that when you get past the halfway line, you can only go forward.
I like that rule.
You can't go back over the halfway line.
Ince's law.
And then make teams. Teams that they've got to go forward all the time.
You're right.
Because all we kept doing,
absolutely.
we looked dangerous and go, don't face it. Let's go back to the centre half. Back round, and that was right.
Taking risks. None of them.
Of course it is. You're spot on, Abs.
I'm about to take a risk and interrupt you right now.
It's a big risk.
It's time to go to a quick break. If you haven't already downloaded the Pitch Football app, what are you doing? When should they download it, Ince?
Now.
When should they download it, Ince?
Now.
Abby?
Now!
Yes, download it now.
No!
We've got plenty more to discuss when it comes to England, Scotland. We are just getting started on this show. We've got lots to preview as well.
I am just getting started, believe me.
I cannot wait to talk about the Italians. See you after the break.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals.
Chase Buchanan, Private Wealth Management. Trusted advice made simple. Chase Buchanan, Private Wealth Management. Trusted advice made simple.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals.
Welcome back to Pitch Football at the Euros with me, Iain Chambers, the wonderful Abigail Davies, and the one and only Paul Ince. Call him Ince. I want to get stuck back into chat about England versus Scotland, but you haven't given me a fact yet. Have you got a fact of the day?
You know what? I was actually thinking about a fact, and it just popped into my head. All right, because obviously we as humans are classed as animals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Back from the Homo sapien days. Okay. So we are the only animals in the world who have a chin. You know that? Did I say something funny?
No, wait, hold on a minute. I'm trying
to think of anything with a chin.
No, it hasn't. They've got a jaw. We have a chin, and the reason we have a chin because it helps when we chew our food. It helps us stabilise our jaw. So if you look, we're the only people with a chin.
How do you just retain these things?
It just popped into my head just now, and I just thought I'd better bring it out. Think about it.
Right, listen.
Most animals have got jaws. We have
I'm running
chins.
through every single animal. Every single animal.
It's a fact.
If you know of any animals with a chin, tweet us at Pitch Footy. I want to know about it because I'm trying to think. Does a gorilla have a chin?
No.
I
jaws.
thought of it.
I'm trying to think.
That's incredible.
Should we get back to the...
I think that might be my favourite
I
one.
hear a dog barking. A dog doesn't have a chin.
Favourite one? No, a dog doesn't have a chin. There's a jaw.
There's a jaw. Well, there you go.
Like a crocodile. That's two jaws.
I'll just have to take this on the chin, won't I?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Which one?
Come off it. Right. I want to talk about Sancho for a moment. Yeah. This is a bit of a talking point.
About to sign for Man United.
Yes. Do you reckon?
Yeah.
For Dortmund, right? Last season, 38 appearances, 16 goals, 20 assists. What's Southgate thinking not getting him on that pitch?
Didn't he start when you beat the Czech Republic 5-0? Pretty sure he started in that game.
He may have done.
Yeah.
I think with Sancho, because I mean, he didn't play towards the back end of the season, did he, at Dortmund, did he?
No.
He had a little injury, so, you know, whether he's up to speed or not, you know, I don't know. But when you're looking at that game and you're thinking, how can I change it? You kind of look to, because since before that, no one's really even mentioned Sancho. So I'm not sure why all these fans are that saying, why didn't we bring Sancho on?
Yep.
Because before that, if there was ever going to be any changes, it was either going to be Grealish or Rashford or Foden, depending on who started out of Rashford and Foden. So they were the two you kind of bring on first. So I don't have any criticism in Southie making those changes. I mean, we don't see what Sanchez is like in training. You know, we don't see, and sometimes it's about that. The fans don't have the insight what actually goes on in the camp.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes, you know, I've been in situations where you think, well, this kid's got the ump because he's not playing, and his attitude in training is not great. So the manager's going, well, I'm just not going to play him. If that's the way he wants to be, you know. So we don't know what's going on. I'm not saying that's the case with Sancho.
Yeah.
But if he's not training well, you don't throw him into a game like that. And he's never going to be in front of the likes of Grealish and Rashford.
Do you not think Ben Chilwell should be in there? Do you think he's looking at him for the next game?
Listen, I don't think. Listen, you've got to think about this. You know, we've played 2 games. You know, we've kept 2 clean sheets.
Yeah. But you've changed your fullbacks.
Yeah, listen, but I think defensively that's not a problem.
Yeah.
You know, as Chambers said, you know, we've had 3 shots on target.
Yeah.
So basically, offensively, that's where our problem lies. We haven't got to worry about defence.
I'm quite surprised that he took Trippier out of the side, if I'm being honest.
Listen, it's all about how he looks, how the Scottish team set up. You know, as I said, you know, you can make 1 or 2 changes and probably get away with it, but defensively has never been a problem. We need to look at how we're going to score goals, because a lot of these teams are scoring goals free willy, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah.
I saw Michael Owen tweeted last night just saying that a lot of fans are saying that this was a really bad performance in comparison to the Croatia game, whereas Owen was saying that he thought that the Croatia game was a decent performance and this was an average, not great performance, and there wasn't much in it. Did you see much of a gulf in quality between those 2 games?
I saw a gulf in quality in the first 15 minutes against Croatia, because I thought we looked great. We looked great.
Yeah.
We was on the front foot.
We did.
You know, I was on the front foot. Looked like we was going to score, you know, goals. If Foden's one goes in, doesn't hit the inside of the post, it's a different story. But after that, it was a bit dull.
Yeah.
You know, it was a bit dull, and I think it took the same pattern, you know, last night. I think the exciting thing was because obviously the rival and everyone's looking up. It's Holby, nobody's looking forward to a big match, and it just kind of lets you down.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of felt yesterday. But the performances haven't been great, apart from that first 15-20 minutes against Croatia. And you know, we need to start finding a bit of form.
Yeah, 25 years' time. We've been talking about '96. 25 years on from today, nobody's recalling that match, are they? Nobody's going on about how they were just,
It's interesting, isn't it? Because we did speak, obviously, there are lots of recalls right now back to Euro 96, especially because we got Ince sitting here next to us. But there weren't. I was watching that game and I was thinking, I'm not seeing any Paul Gascoigne's on this pitch. I'm not seeing any Paul Inces on the pitch. And we need some legacy performances in the next few games if we're going to achieve the heights of success that you guys did.
Well, what you need, as you said, you need to start upping your performances. You know, listen, at the moment, I think we're okay because obviously the main reason is to qualify for the group stages. Yeah. And you're hoping we're going to kind of be like the Germans, where we kind of struggle in our form, but get to where we want to get to and start building it and building up. Because I'd still believe on any given day against any team on the one-off, with its last 16 quarter-finals, England can beat anyone. We can always up our game.
What's your opinion on a striker being captain, especially when he's performing like that? He's not really, you know, he's not one to do the talking anyway, but you've got him instructing you on the pitch and he's non-existent in a match. I personally think a captain should be either a defender or a midfielder.
I think I totally agree with you. I actually totally agree, because and the 2 reasons I say that is because, you know, when you're centre forward, to you to get around the team as a captain, you can't, because it's always at the top of the park. When you're a midfield player, you can get to the front 3 or front 2, or you can get to the back 4. You know, so you're always in communication with everybody. And sometimes when they want to make a goalkeeper captain, I don't get it, because they can't get to everyone. You know,
did you feel like you had that accessibility to the team when you were captain of England?
Yeah.
You're in a fantastic position in the midfield. You've got good way of communicating, right?
Yeah, for sure. You know, and you can see it all when you're in the middle.
Yeah,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
if you're a goalkeeper, you know, 110 yards up there, you can't see what's going on up there.
Yeah.
And Harry Kane, it's exactly the same. And I don't know whether it's. I don't know if it's a burden on Harry Kane being a captain. I don't know. I think has he got a lot going on in his mind at the moment where, you know, I don't think South is ever going to take the armband off him. You know, but this is where we talk about leaders and characters. You know, we haven't got them anymore. You know, and that's why I like something like a Harry Maguire or a Henderson. If Henderson was playing, if Henderson was playing yesterday, we would have seen a better performance.
I agree. Look, just before I throw to the Euro Bureau, I want to throw out to some content that we've created back in England. Are you worried about Czech Republic?
No,
Tuesday?
No, I'm not.
Well,
no, I'm not.
That's what I like to hear. We will preview that game in full on Tuesday's episode, 1 p.m. Don't miss it. Now let's cross over to James Helder. It's the Euro Bureau over in the UK.
I think it's amazing. We actually played so well, and I'm proud of the boys. I'm very, very proud of the boys.
Well, it was pretty pathetic, wasn't it? I mean, they won 0-0. They won 0-0. It's pretty bad, isn't it?
In your opinion, could we have done different to get the 3 points? They were playing across the park too much. I think they needed to go down the sides or play balls through, but they just didn't seem to do that.
I thought we could have done better. We played well.
Kane didn't see much of Kane, to be honest. It was, I suppose, it was a bit of a relief when they took him off.
I thought it was chances for both teams. Scotland really showed up tonight. I thought we actually could have snatched the 3 points, but good game overall. I'm happy with the result.
They're going to get knocked out in the last 16, and we're probably going to go through to the semis or the finals, and no one cares, but they really care.
How proud are you as a Scotland fan to come down to Wembley and pick up a point against England?
I'm absolutely proud as I could be. I'm delighted to be here, and it's a great occasion, and it's a good result for Scotland. Happy days.
Grealish make his debut in the tournament for England in the competitive matches. What did you make of Grealish coming on?
I think he definitely made a difference. I'd like to have seen him from the start, but yeah, I don't think he had enough time.
Hey, who do you think your man of the match was as a Scotland fan?
Man of the match is a hard thing to call. I think everybody played a good game. Billy Gilmore showed great composure. Stephen O'Donnell, great composure. Everybody, all 11, great result.
Yeah, this goes into the last game for Croatia, needing a big result from Scotland at Hampden Park. How confident are you can do the business there?
After today's result, I'm super confident we can get 3 points against Croatia. We've got the talent, we've got the players. Come on to Scotland. Come on to Scotland.
Oh, are we back? I'm just still trying to sit here and think of an animal with a chin. It's doing my head in. As you would say, it's doing me that in.
I'm a Swede.
I'm a Swede. Listen, Wembley, the scenes prior to the game, it was full of very vocal, very excited England fans. Post-match, lots of excited and happy Scottish fans. You got to accept that they're happy with the point, right?
Yeah, I think so, because I think, if you look at on the teams on paper, everyone was saying England win. Even Abby was saying an England win. That says it all. Yeah. But they've got to. I think they should have got 3 points, but they've got to take a point because it gives them a chance in the last game. Yeah. That's the only saving grace about it. And they fully deserved it. They fully deserved the point. I said the way they set the team out, Clark had them fired up. Yeah. And they deserve to get the point.
But I was going to say, even in the first game, they lost 2-0, but it was the same story. Lyndon Dykes, if he puts his chances away, they're both very different games. So, yeah, I think Che Adams, we have to mention, he made such a difference. Having him on as an outlet, I think they missed a trick by not starting him in the first game, and they proved why he should be in that.
Why is that then? Because he missed 2 sitters.
Yeah, but he's still in that position.
It was 2 golden chances.
No, he just fired up the grill.
He did. He did. But at least their striker's actually involved in the play. So
there's no point if you're going to miss them.
I get that.
If you're going to slash it wide from 3 yards, then what effect is that?
Well,
he must be on the bench.
But still more effective.
No one ever challenges me. I just get
still more effective than Harry Kane, though, wasn't he? But the thing is, if he's on in that first game, and he's got that game time behind him, does he finish those chances?
We never know.
We will never know. And you're not going to give us an answer.
I'll tell you one thing I do know. We're about to go to a break. And I also know that you need to download the Pitch Football app if you haven't already.
You do.
So much going on there. Get your predictions coming in on our foreplay section of the app. That is where you can get your chance of playing a round of golf with this man, Mr. Paul Ince. Greatest golf swing in the Algarve. Two of the hardest men England have ever produced. Paul Ince, Ray Winston. We're going to sit them down together over Zoom. They're going to have a conversation about the game. I was going to say last night, if you're watching this, it's 2 days ago. I caught myself. You're going to see Ray and Ince coming together after the break.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot, now pass me the ball.
Chase Buchanan Private Wealth Management. Trusted advice made simple. Chase Buchanan Private Wealth Management. Trusted advice made simple.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot, now pass me the ball.
Welcome back. Pitch Football at the Euros with me, Iain Chambers, Abigail Davies and Paul Ince. I'm feeling hyped. I'm feeling excited right now. Are you excited?
Is it because we're about to talk about Wales? Or?
No, that's not yet.
Yeah, the big man's coming on, isn't he? The big man.
The big man.
Ray Winston.
Wow.
I'm the governor, but he's the real governor, Ray Winston.
Isn't he?
And he's not an happy bunny at the moment.
No.
After that game, so we might have to do a bit of bleeping out, I think.
Editors have got a job on their hands.
Yeah. So,
because you're not telling him to control it, are you? You don't give him demands.
No, Ray just does what he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's a big West Ham fan. He's a big football fan. And we'll have a little chat in a couple of minutes' time.
Well, a legendary actor coming together with a legendary footballer. You only get this right here on this show, Pitch Football at the Euros. There's so many people this man knows. You want to see his contact list. It's pretty spectacular. But for now, it's time for Ince's conversation with Ray Winston.
Raymundo,
Morning, Paul.
How many beers did you have last night watching that game?
I only had the one. It's not a game really for. I couldn't. Every time I went to lift the glass up, I got too tense. You know, it was it's not like a football match, is it? England Scotland. It's more like a war battle. You know, or it should be anyway.
It wasn't.
Very tense, isn't it? You can't relax.
Yeah, it wasn't a battle. It wasn't a war. You know what I mean? You know when you get these big games and you kind of like get yourself all set for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you watch it and you think it's a bit of a letdown. You know what I mean?
It was a disappointment from the England point of view. I mean, I've got to give credit to Scotland, really, ain't you?
So we have
they come and done. They come and done their job. But for me, it was I've used the term before, but it was very robotic from England. It was slow. The first game was slow at points, but I put that down to the heat. But you can't keep making excuses like that. You know, Harry Kane looks like he's on another planet. He's a second behind everyone else. What
do you think's wrong with Harry Kane, right?
He's tired. He's been carrying Tottenham all year, I suppose. But the kid's tired. You know, he looks tired. He looks like he's somewhere else. You know, and I think he needs to give him a rest, leave him alone for a little while. I was crying out for Dominic Calvert-Lewis.
We mentioned about that.
Yeah. For me, he's got a bit of pace. He livens up. He's great in the air. You had the option then of putting the long ball in the air because Harry was never in the box. He was outside the box all the time. He's playing like a midfielder, you know, or number 10 that lays back.
Yeah, but the thing is, Raymundo,
we had no target men in there, did we?
No, exactly. So when he made these like rubber dubs, you know what I mean? And he brought on like Rashford, took Foden off. You know what I mean? The punters were like booing a bit.
To be honest with you, Rashford's injured himself. Rashford ain't at the top of his game, you know. So at the moment, you know, you're looking at Sancho to come on. You know, leave Foden on. Foden was doing great stuff. You know, and Sterling had run his heart out, but never really produced anything. You know, at the end of the day, and Grealish come on a bit late for me. You know, I'd like to see bring him into the middle more to play in the Harry Kane kind of role. Grealish, you know.
Yeah.
And then you got Calvert-Lewin in front of him. For me, that would have been a much better choice. That's in hindsight, I guess, because I was looking forward to a much better England performance than that.
Yeah, here's one for you then. I was thinking, right, that maybe the last 20, 25 minutes, you know, we got two holding midfield players.
Yeah.
I actually felt we should have took one of them off. All right. Which one would you have took off?
Well, it's a difficult question for me because I'm a West Ham boy.
That's why I asked you, son. That's why I asked you.
I feel that Rice is playing very restricted. He's back there, and what he is he's just clearing it up and passing the ball off. Well, you know, and I watch him week in and week out. He's a great passer of the ball, and he's great when he's got the ball at his feet and he pushes forward. I like seeing him run forward. He reminds me of a bit of a Beckenbauer when he runs forward, you know. But Beckenbauer, he reminds me a lot of...
Are you on the petrol?
I'm going back many
Are you on the petrol? I can't even believe you didn't say it's a bit of an Ince, because I was there at West Ham doing that stuff.
No, I think he was more aggressive than that.
You think so?
Yeah, I think, to be quite honest with you, Paul, I think that's what the England team miss, is a Paul Ince.
Yeah, a bit of a wrong one.
No, a cruncher. We need a cruncher. I thought the little Leeds kid was a bit of that, but he didn't really show that last night. I like that boy who plays for Leeds, and he showed it in the first game. His energy and the way he got about the pitch was fantastic. But last night we didn't see anything of him. Maybe that was down to Scotland. I don't know.
No, you're probably right. I think Scotland deserve a bit of credit, don't they, for the way they set the team out and that.
Yeah.
But I just kind of feel with England, Harry Kane's going to be an issue. I think you've always got to play him, right? I don't think you can not play him. I know.
But do you know what? He's the only goal scorer in the team. When you think about it, if he gets a sight of goal, he can score a goal. Yeah. But I think we've got to be very brave in the last match, and I think we've got to leave him out. We've got to play Calvert-Lewis. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Right, you've got to play Kane. You know what I mean? Calvert-Lewin's not tested, is he, at this level?
On the last two performances for England, Harry Kane needs to be left out of the Czech game. For his sake and for England's sake, I think.
So do you think that's down to the fact that he's distracted? He might be leaving Tottenham. He might be getting a move. His agent's on the blower. All that type of stuff.
I don't know, Paul. He's not a drinking partner on one. We don't discuss it over the phone or anything, me and Harry. So I don't know that. He just doesn't look right to me, the kid, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't leave him out the whole competition. If we're lucky enough to get through, which we probably will,
we'll get through, won't we?
Through. Yeah, he'll play again, obviously, but I would leave him out the Czech game. I really would.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So how far was that then, getting through to the next stages? Because we're not playing well, right, are we? We're not playing good football, are we?
That's not a bad sign, though, because some of the greatest teams that have won it have not played well, you know, so... As long as we get through, and we didn't get beat last night. I mean, for Scotland, it was like they won the World Cup. A 0-0 draw at Wembley. It was like the World. I think that's what done them in the first game, Scotland. They were so looking forward to the England game that they weren't really that concentrated on the first game with the Czechs. And it was their cup final last night, So it'd be interesting to see how they play in the last game against the Croats.
Yeah, well, they give themselves a chance, didn't they? But
they did.
I just think, looking at that game, the fans started to, I wouldn't say turn on Southie, but there was a lot of boos, wasn't there, at the end of the game? Because we expect to beat the Scottish team, don't we? No matter, where you look at our players and compared to their players, we expect to beat the Scottish team. And even if we don't, we at least expect to be like having shots galore, hitting the bar, making worldy saves, that type of stuff. But like one or two shots.
I know. Yeah, I've got to agree. I've got to agree with that. Yeah.
You
yourself, it's a derby game, and anything can happen in a derby game.
Yeah, but you still got to have it with them. You can't just like we were slow, we were pedestrian, we didn't pass. Everyone the passing was slow.
Agreed.
Looked a bit edgy. Looked a bit edgy.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
And if we're going to get to the last 16, which we are going to get to the last 16, we're going to have to play over the French, the Germans, and the Portuguese.
Yeah.
And if we go in with that form, we could be out, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think we'll do them anyway. I think we could do the Germans. The ones for me is you're looking at the French. The French, when you watch the French play, they have little rests, and all of a sudden they change gear.
Yeah.
There's no change gear in our team. It's kind of. They tried to go up with gear. They tried to mess around with the ball. All this passing around, and it all looks lovely, but it's going sideways. There's no penetration.
No.
With the French, when they get a chance, when they see an opening, they bump, they go.
Yeah, they're in there, aren't they?
And they have got Mbappe up front and all that. But we've also got kids like Sancho who can run. Sterling he's got some pace and that. But we're not utilising that. We're not using that. It's all about keeping the ball. Well, all I've watched this year, the team that keeps the ball a lot, 9 times out of 10 gets beat.
Yeah, it's all about the result.
It's hitting them on the break,
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think sometimes we kind of, all this stat stuff, getting your numbers up, getting your stats numbers up. And you're right, that's all we keep doing. When we got a chance to go forward, we go back again, back across the back four. We look pretty, didn't we? We look nice, didn't we? Without actually.
Yeah, but it's all too safe. It's all too safe.
Take risks, right. Yeah. We start taking risks, Ray. That's what I think.
It's funny. We seem to win. We look much better when we ain't got the ball, if you know what I mean. In the games where we're playing a good footballing nation, and they got the ball all the time, we seem to play. We're actually set up to hit the teams on the break. So we were set up wrong last night. We were set up with a team that was ready to hit on the break, but we had the ball all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like the wrong team to play them sort of tactics.
Yeah. All right. So in a nutshell, all right.
Yeah.
Are we going to win it or not?
Yeah.
So you've done all your moaning and now they're going to win it.
You know, we're in for a good shot. It depends who gets knocked out on the way through. You know, the French might play the Germans and things like that. And, you know, I'm liking the look of the Italians. The thing I like about the French is they're strong. They look powerful, you know, and they got that pace in there. The Italians don't look so powerful, but they've got a good old-fashioned back four. You know, they're playing there. I think it's Collini and Bonucci in it. They're old boys, but I think one of them might be out. But I'll pick them for my team, you know, on this manager thing you do, them two boys. And they look solid. They know what it's all about.
Brilliant.
But when they pass the ball, they pass it with pace. You know, and they go through teams. And you've watched them, they've scored 3 goals in both games up to now. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but they're going to be very, very close, I think.
Top man, Raymond. Anyway, I'm going to have to shoot off, mate. Going to have a cup of coffee. You say England, I say England.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Happy days, eh?
Happy day. Old school, Paul. Old school.
Son. Love you, mate. Take care.
Mine, there you go. Have a good day.
Cheers, Geezer. Ta-ra, mate.
Ciao, ciao.
Listen, that was great. We're going to have plenty more conversation after the break. It's about time we get stuck into Italy versus Wales. We're going to give this woman the floor. We'll be back after the break.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals.
Chase Buchanan Private Wealth Management. Trusted advice made simple. Chase Buchanan Private Wealth Management. Trusted advice made simple.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot, now pass me the ball.
We have got plenty more to discuss, but before we do, you might have noticed that Abby's hair looks a little bit different because it's time to play What's in Abby's Barnet.
Yeah, it is indeed, and it's something really, really good today.
So there's something going on in your beehive right now.
Yeah, there
Me
is.
and Paul have to try and guess what's in there.
Yeah,
The first time we did this, you whipped a bikini out your Barnet.
Oh, this is better.
First time we did it, I won.
You won.
Yeah.
I'm 1-0 up.
1-0.
You are 1-0 up.
I'm 1-0 up, son.
Okay.
See, he's happy to mention this one because he's winning it.
And 3-2.
Yeah.
So I'm catching you.
All right, so we have to ask yes or no questions.
Yeah, go on. Do you want to go first?
You go first.
Can you drink it?
No,
Can you wear it?
humans can't.
Is it a dog lead?
Close.
Is it a dog tag?
It is.
Is it?
No!
It's the jingly thing.
It's not the jingles.
It's the jingles.
Oh, it's not jingles.
Let's see. Oh, this is going to be... I can't wait to see what her hair looks like for the rest of the... Oh, yeah, it's the jingly thing.
That's a nightmare, don't.
This gives this man nightmares. If you've been watching the show regularly, he's staying in a house where there is a dog called Roller, and it wears this around its neck, and it wakes you up every morning, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm gone 3:46. 6:48.
Not that he's keeping
today
tags.
Today was 8 o'clock, and I go back having nightmares about the jingle thing.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. In fact, I actually won that, didn't I?
I knew he was
No,
going to
because
say that.
I gave I would have said the answer, didn't I?
Yeah.
Dog lead.
Well, but that's not a lead, is it? It's a jingly thing.
Absolutely won it.
Collar.
They won it.
It's a jingly
Chambers.
thing. Yeah, it's one apiece. It's 1-1.
Do you know what though? I almost want to give it to you only because we've given you a nightmare, and it's this is your hell, isn't it?
Oh, it sends shivers down his spine, doesn't it?
It's a good one though, isn't
Spencer
it?
Twitch. Spencer
Yeah,
Twitch.
it's a good one though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah.
Look forward
I
to
mean,
next.
Your hair still looks nice.
Oh no,
Yeah,
it
it
doesn't.
does.
It doesn't.
Look forward to next one.
Let's get some predictions, right? As we
Okay.
go into today's games, we've spoken a lot about England. We've seen Ray Winston. We've seen what's in your Barnet. Switzerland versus Turkey. How are you feeling about this one?
Both teams got to win.
Yeah.
There's none of all this, trying to stay in the game and all that stuff. Both teams have got to go for it.
What do you reckon?
Switzerland, Turkey. I'm going for Switzerland 2-0.
2-0.
I'm going for Turkey 2-1.
Are you joking?
Are you joking?
Are you joking?
Yeah,
Terrible
2-1
prediction.
Turkey.
Good.
I'm only one behind you.
Yeah, no.
Remember
Yeah.
that.
It's coming for
Do
you.
you know what though? Turkey's back line. You made a food reference earlier.
I did.
If we're likening Turkey to the food,
Yeah.
it was flaky. It's overcooked.
Yeah.
It's overdone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love a food analogy.
Yeah.
I like that.
Turkey, flaky turkey.
Yeah. You never had a flaky turkey?
No.
He only eats the finest turkeys.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Fine
Exactly.
turkey.
Turkeys don't have chin either. Wales, Italy. Let's really get into this.
Yeah.
Let's dissect this a
Do you
little
know
bit.
one of my favourite stats? Kevin De Bruyne in 2016.
KDB.
KDB.
Please.
He created the most big chances in the tournament with 5. Gareth Bale against Turkey, 5, just in that one game.
Doesn't surprise me though. Bale's a machine, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah, when he's on form.
Yeah.
And
Go on.
I think the big thing that we have to look at going into this game is players on yellow cards. Because, of course, at this stage, if you pick up 2 yellow cards, you miss the next game.
Yeah.
That did us in 2016, of course, having no Ben Davies and Ramsey for the semi-final, because remember we made the semi-final.
Yep.
They missed out because of that. We've got 3 players on a yellow card. We've got Kiefer Moore, Mepham, Ben Davies, all on a yellow. Italy, not a single yellow card yet. So do we? I personally think you're making changes because you don't want those missing out when we get out of the
Is there
group.
not a scenario that if obviously you tie with Switzerland on points, that it does go down to yellow cards?
Yeah, so if Switzerland beat Turkey 2-0, Italy beat Wales 3-0,
Yep.
we'll be level on points, goal difference, goals 4. So then it comes down to yellow cards. Turkey have got, Switzerland have got 4 at the moment.
Yeah.
So we would go through, but of course, it's...
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
It's a big challenge for the Welsh, this, isn't it? These Italians look dangerous.
They look very dangerous. I mean, if you're going to pick out a team at the moment who you'd fancy to go close to winning it, it would be the Italians, and that's a game that Wales should be looking forward to. It really should be. Again, we talked about England, the lack of form. Wales are going into this game with form, with confidence. We know it's going to be a tough game, you know what I mean? But they've given themselves a great chance of getting to the last 16 and I'm not sure how the Wales fans thought that was never be the case, but now there's belief that they can go on.
And the thing is, I do genuinely believe, as much as we joke, Italy have kept 10 clean sheets in succession. Yeah. I do think this is going to be their toughest test. I'm not saying, we're Belgium and we've got a Lukaku, but I do think this is going to be the first time. If Bale and Ramsey perform as they did against Turkey, I think this is going to be the most difficult test that Italy have faced so far, because you touched upon it. Yeah. Have they really been tested yet? They've had back-to-back 3-0 wins. Those 2 3-0 wins are the first time they've scored 3 in this tournament.
Now that Ramsey and Bale delivered as a unit, as a partnership, there's even more pressure now on them, I think, going forward. And do you think they can handle that pressure, and can they deliver on a stage against the Italians, especially in Rome?
Yeah, factors in Rome. But people like Bale and Ramsey, they relish that type of opportunity to show what they're all about. As I said, there's no pressure on the Welsh team. There's no expectation for the Welsh to beat the Italians. All of that they've done, they've put themselves in a good position where they can qualify. Yeah. But the teams that always do well are the teams where their stars consistently perform. We saw what Kevin De Bruyne, a KDB coming on. It seems like Lukaku at the moment. Yeah. But Italians are a very, very good side. And I just wanted to point something out, and I'm not sure if you remember it. All right? Because we talked about the best pass of the tournament so far.
Yes.
And we talked about Bale into Ramsey, and Pogba's one into... But did you see Locatelli's goal, the third goal? Did you see the pass, the volley from the middle of the park out to the right, and he goes to the box and scores a goal? Yeah. For me, that is the best pass at European Championships so far.
I'll give you that.
Is that getting topped though? That's going to be a tough one to beat.
It's going to be a tough one to beat. So, but they're banging form. Banging form. Well, listen, they might make changes. We don't know. We know Cleary's not going to play. Yeah. And the Cherby will probably come in, but they might make some changes on the basis of what you've been talking about, Abby.
What do you imagine? Do you imagine that the Italians will play their strongest team or not?
I think they can make changes, but I don't know. I think momentum is such a big thing that they're going to want to carry on making a statement, especially when you've got Belgium performing and the other big teams performing. I think that momentum is key. I think the one thing that we talk about Bale and Ramsey, Joe Morrell, for me, played 5 times last season for Luton. Yep. And he comes to this tournament and he's part of a midfield that's able to control a game. How difficult is that? When you've not had that game time and you're still that sharp. How do you do it?
Well, the things you think about the Welsh midfield, and you've got Morrell and you've got Joe Allen. These are 2 players, as you're right, not played a lot of game time at Luton. Joe Allen's had a horrendous injury and has been out for a period of time. But they're also fresh. Yeah. They're fresh. Yeah. And that's the difference. We've seen so many players even now at the early stage of the tournament, people going down with cramp. Yeah. These guys are just fresh and ready to go. But that can only benefit Wales.
Is there not a danger though, especially with Joe Allen playing this much game time, the intensity is quite high, that he's more susceptible to picking up another injury?
No, I think the way Joe Allen plays, and I watched him a lot playing for Stoke because my son's there, so...
Can we just say that people might only know him as the Welsh Xavi, so that's who we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
And that's the way he plays.
Yeah.
He's 100 mile an hour. Yeah. He's all action.
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll have any problems. He'll be loving it. He'll be loving that. He's back fit. He's back playing, and he's got a great partner alongside him in Joe Morrell.
Just give us your starting 11. Why not?
The only thing I'm changing, and it was the same before the last game, I'd be putting Ben Davies into centre back, and I'd be starting Nico Williams and Connor Roberts, and then of course Joe Rodon in there. I'm then going. Do you know what? I am sticking with it, even though they are one yellow card away. I think I'm sticking with it. I think it's a ridiculous rule, can I just say? So I'm sticking them with Joe Morrell, Joe Allen, Aaron Ramsey, Gareth Bale, Dan James, and Kiefer Zlatan-Moore.
The moment you're going to make changes, now you're sticking with it.
No, I'm sticking with it. No, I asked the question. I said, should they? I didn't say I am.
We don't care. We're not Welsh. We're English.
We're English.
I play ball when it comes to talking about England. I think you should start doing the same thing, to be honest.
That's me told off, isn't it?
Who's looked better from your perspective so far, the English or the Welsh?
Oh, it's not even a competition. No, you've got to be honest. Realistically, it's not been a contest.
When you kind of look at the two teams and you look at the quality of squad that we've got compared to the quality of squad that the Welsh have got, then you've got to say the Welsh. You know, you've got to. As I said, maybe we've not really started yet. We haven't started yet. We haven't started playing well yet. But the Welsh are playing on top of their game. So the Welsh can't get any better than what they're playing at the moment. And they need to be if they're going to beat Italy. I
mean, that's the thing, isn't it? We played well against Switzerland, who were probably on par with us, I'd say. They're the closest to us, and we showed that we can do it. We can compete with them. The Turkey game you can't really take a lot from because they're not as good. I know we did say they're going to be the surprise package. They beat Holland in the World Cup qualifier, didn't they? But I think you're right. We've probably got 3 or 4% more to give.
Yeah. And you've got to think about it. This is all about big players showing up.
Yeah.
It is.
And ours have.
And yours have. And ours haven't at the moment.
Yeah.
They will though.
Certainly.
Let's get some predictions for the Wales game. Wales-Italy. What are you saying?
2-0 Italy.
Oh! I wasn't expecting that.
Were you not? No. The thing is, I'm a realist.
Yeah.
You guys come into this and you're like, it's coming home. You're bringing it home.
Okay. Right,
at the moment, the bus is stuck in Treborth, isn't it?
I'm going to go 2-1 Italy.
2-1 Italy.
Yeah.
Who's scoring our goal?
Zlatan.
Okay, well, listen up.
Or Xavi.
We want you to give us...
Or Cafu.
We want you to give us your predictions. If you haven't already downloaded the Pitch Football app, get on the foreplay section. That is where you can predict the results of each of the games in the Euros. The more you get correct, the higher you get on our leaderboard of points. There are lots of different spot prizes that are going to be released as the weeks roll on. But top of the leaderboard, at the very end of the tournament, prizes don't get much better than this. If you love a round of golf, you get to play with the one and only Mr. Paul Ince, the man with the hardest, sexiest swing in the Algarve. Trust me, he's trying to bring mine up to scratch. I'm nowhere near him yet. If you're not into your golf, you can have a little cheeky meal with him as well. And
You'd prefer the golf though, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to have a meal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big Mac, large fries, apple pie, kind of ketchup. That'd do me.
Oh, so it's at Mackey's, is it? We haven't discussed the T's and C's yet, but we will. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck today.
Thank you.
I'm sure that you'll perform well.
Can't wait to watch it with you guys after the stick I've given you.
We can go work on my swing. See you next time.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot, now pass me the ball.
Chase Buchanan, Private Wealth Management. Trusted advice made simple.